Hello guys, welcome to Online Turkish School lesson number 17. It's been such a long time, have you missed me? I know I've missed doing lessons. And I checked my last video, it was over 2 years ago, it was very long time ago, and I know I let you down. I'm sorry about that. But I got busy, and then I got lazy, and then I got busy, and I got caught in this vicious circle. But now I'm planning to get back to these lessons and go on. I remember covering a lot of the grammar, actually, a lot of the hard stuff, difficult stuff. And some of you might actually have given up. I'm sorry about that. And some of you might actually have kept on going, so they might be a little further ahead of what we had already done. And for those people, this lesson is going to be a little easier, of course, or maybe obsolete even. But nevertheless, I'm going to keep on doing these lessons, and I'm going to continue from where we left off. I remember doing the present tense and the past tense and past continuous and the future tense, negatives and questions and all that. I remember doing the verb to be, vowel harmony, which was a little difficult to grasp, I remember. And then the consonant harmony also, and you remember the ketchup prostitute mnemonic. It was in the 7th lesson, I believe. And we did some reading exercises, and if I'm not wrong, we learned around 300 words, which is actually not too bad for the basic level. You're already what we could consider an A2 or B1 in the European standards. And if you don't know those standards, it's like there are 6 levels: A1, A2, B1, B2, and C1, C2. You're basically your native language. You're basically C2 in that language, and when you start learning a language, it's A1. Anyway, this is boring. So you're basically A2, B1, which is not bad, pre-intermediate level. Today I'm going to go on with a new topic, which is extremely useful in constructing a little longer sentences. And I'm gonna get to that in just a second, but I want you to, if you're not too, let's say, if your memory isn't too good and you haven't been practicing, I suggest that you reread the lesson, rewatch the lesson 4 to remember the vowel harmony, just understand the logic, and maybe lesson 10 and 11. Because we're going to be using a lot of present continuous tenses, because we're going to be constructing sentences basically. So yeah, let's get to it. So what if I want to say the man speaks French? Remember that in English and in many European languages you actually have to, there's this thing called SVO, which stands for subject, the person or the thing, whatever that does the action. Subject here, the man. Who speaks? The man. So that's the object. The verb, the action, speaking, and then the object, whatever comes after it. In Turkish, remember that we have this thing, SOV, subject, object, verb. So the verb is in the end. So in this case, the Turkish would go, the man French speaks. And usually we mark the object if it's a definite object. If you have the in English, if you have that the, in Turkish usually you use this object in the accusative, something that's called accusative, basically just adding an e, which have to harmonize, of course, u, ü, whatever, to help the reader that it's an object. We use that. Just a little reminder for you. So in Turkish the sentence will go, adam, the man is adam, Adam, adam. Speaks will be in the end, so French is Fransızca, and speaks is konuşmak, and then I'm gonna add the present continuous suffix, which is iyor, so konuşuyor. Let's use the Times New Roman. Georgia maybe. No, Times New Roman is fine. Okay. The man speaks French, adam Fransızca konuşuyor. Konuşuyor or konuşuyor, depending on your dialect, accent. Usually we don't pronounce the R. I sometimes personally do, but it depends on the person. So adam Fransızca konuşuyor. Another thing is for Romance speakers, French, Italian speakers, this is capitalized. Okay, unlike French or Italian. So, adam Fransızca konuşuyor. What if I want to say the man works here? The man works here. Again, the man is adam. Works is our action, the verb, so it's going to be in the end. So here is our next word, verb, no word, sorry. Here is burada or burada. We usually spell it this way, but we don't pronounce the a. Burada, adam, burada, and then work is çalışmak, çalışıyor. We have u here and we have u here. This is the vowel harmony. Okay. If you're not comfortable with it, I'm gonna say it's fine, but try to get comfortable with it already. Okay. So because we're gonna use it all the time, and it's in the fourth video. So adam Fransızca konuşuyor, adam burada çalışıyor, and so on. So now I want to actually merge these sentences. When you speak, you would not say the man speaks French and then speaking of the same man. The man works here. The man eats pizza. The man goes to. You don't do that. You usually try to combine sentences in order for the listener to more comfortably listen to you. For example, you would say the man who speaks French works here. So you would actually merge these two sentences. Okay, these two, combine them. You would create a fusion. So you would say the man who speaks French works here. It's the same thing in French, l'homme qui parle, or I don't know, Spanish, el hombre que habla, or something like that. Even German, der Mann, der Französisch, I don't know. My German is bad. So this is pretty common in European languages, even in Hungarian and Finnish, I would assume. So in Turkish, it's a little different. You're gonna need a little bit of awareness of what role each word has in the sentence, so that you can construct the sentence in Turkish, because it's gonna be a little bit reversed. Now, the main thing that you should know is that this is called, in grammar, this is called relative clauses, and this particular example is called an adjective clause. I'm just gonna, make you hate the grammar. No, this is really just, terminology. It doesn't really matter that much. But know that an adjective is words that describe something, and you find out an adjective by asking the questions to the word, like what kind of, or which kind of, or just which. For example, here, the man works here. Which man works here? The one who speaks French. So this is our adjective, right? It's just a sentence. It has a verb, and then it's just not a simple adjective like the rich man works here, the poor man works here. Those are also adjectives, because which man? The rich man or the poor man. But this is also an adjective. It's just in the sentence form, in which case in English you just put it after the word. The man who speaks French. In Turkish, it doesn't matter if it's a word or a sentence. It's gonna come before the noun, just like when in English you would say the poor man. Poor is an adjective, and it would say the poor man. Poor would be here. Why is it here? I don't know. Because it's a sentence, it comes after the word. But in Turkish, we would always say the who speaks French man. So it would go like this: the who speaks French man works here. Okay. Or you could say the French-speaking man works here. That is also passable in English. Anyway, just to get you the logic. So we're gonna construct the sentences in this sentence, but first of all you have to know where to put what word, and the logic of it. So this is our sentence. Now first of all, let's forget about the adjective. Okay, let's build the main sentence. The man works here. This is our sentence, the main sentence. So let's get that. Adam burada or burada çalışıyor. Now I just told you the who speaks French part is the adjective for man, so it's gonna come before the man. So it's gonna come here. Okay, whatever we write, we're gonna write it here. Let's write it. Who speaks French? Now first of all, we're gonna need the verb to speak, which is konuşmak. Okay, and then the French, Fransızca. But this, this is the object. He speaks what? French. It's the object, right? And remember, in Turkish we have SOV, so the object comes before the verb. So French is gonna come here, Fransızca. Let's just get that out of the way. Now konuşmak, what we do is extremely simple. Extremely simple. You just omit the mek or mak, and then you add n or an, depending on the vowel. In this case, it's going to be an because it's a dotless vowel. So this n an, it's a bit similar to Latin ente ante, if you know Latin. I don't. And or the German ende ante, maybe sprechende or something. In English, just ing, like speaking. You just add this, okay? So for this word, it's going to be konuşan. Fransızca konuşan, speaking French, or who speaks French, or who speaks French, or that speaks French, or which speaks French. It doesn't matter. In Turkish, you just add an. And we just put it here. So Fransızca konuşan adam burada çalışıyor. Okay? Fransızca konuşan adam burada çalışıyor. Maybe it's a little bit difficult in the beginning, but you're gonna get used to it. So let's work on another sentence. For example, the woman who lives here, let's say, is my friend. Or let's say who lives there, just to spice it up. The woman who lives there is my friend. So the vocabulary we're gonna need is woman, which is kadın. Live is yaşamak. There is orada, or orada. My is benim. You don't need this, but let's put it. Benim. And friend is arkadaş. So first of all, the main sentence is the woman is my friend, right? So this is which woman? The one who lives there. This is my adjective. So it's gonna come before the woman in Turkish, but let's forget about it for the time being. So the woman is my friend. In Turkish it's gonna be kadın. Is the verb to be in Turkish it's olmak, but we never use it when we say I am, you are, he is. We just add, if it's I am, we add im. If it's you are, we add sin. If it's he is, she is, it is, we add nothing. Sometimes we add dir, but I'm gonna get to that much later. Okay, it's a bit advanced. In spoken language, we never say it. I mean, not in this context. So im, sin. Remember this. Okay, it's 9th lesson, I guess. Anyway, this is the third person. Not me, not you, but kadın. So we're not gonna add anything special. So my friend is benim. Arkadaş, and you know that this benim it's not enough. You have to also add the im to here, but of course you have to harmonize. Fourth lesson, guys. Fourth lesson. Arkadaşım. Kadın benim arkadaşım. The woman is my friend. We don't have the in Turkish, So kadın benim arkadaşım. Now the who lives there part is going to come before here. So whatever we construct, it's going to come before the kadın. Okay. So let's do that. Who lives there? Now the verb is lives, and you remember SOV in Turkish. Right now it's the SVO English, but we need SOV, so O is gonna come here. Okay, so in Turkish this is gonna be, there is gonna come first, so orada, and then live is yaşamak. Now what I do is I change. Let me italicize this. I'm gonna add an or an, and for this verb we have a, so it's gonna be, of course, logically it's gonna be a. So I add a. Yaşayan, it's gonna be difficult to pronounce, so we're gonna add a y, okay, as we always do. Orada yaşayan, or orada yaşayan. Who lives there, or living there? They're living. Okay. Let me capitalize this. Orada yaşayan kadın benim arkadaşım. Now, is this clear? I hope it's clear. Now, one good news is this is not tense specific. Now, so far I have only given 2 examples in which the main sentence will have always been in present tense, is my friend, or works here. It doesn't matter, okay? For example, the students who went to the US I'm gonna stayed at a hotel. Okay, Now the main sentence is the student. Let's first of all write the vocabulary that we're going to use. Student is öğrenci. Went is the verb to go, right? In Turkish it's gitmek. Actually, I don't want to use this verb right now. I'm going to talk about it later. Let's say who flew to the US. It's going to be a little weird sentence, but anyway. To fly is uçmak. US is ABD. And stay is kalmak. And hotel is hotel or hotel. Let's say hotel. Okay. And A is bir. Remember. So, the main sentence is the students who flew to the US stayed at a hotel. Okay? So the main sentence is the students stayed at a hotel. Let's do that. Öğrenciler stayed at a hotel. This is the verb, so it's going to be in the end. At a hotel. So a hotel is bir otel. And then at is de or da. For this case, it's de. I believe this was in the 7th lesson, by the way, when we learned how to say the months and the days and the seasons, etc. Öğrenciler bir otelde stayed, kaldı. Kalmak is to stay, and the past tense marker is di or the, do, etc. Vowel harmony, and then maybe the plural also, which is not necessary, but let's put it. Kaldılar. This is the main sentence. Öğrenciler bir otelde kaldılar. Now, this part is the adjective. It's going to come before the öğrenciler. Let's work on that. Who stayed, who flew to the US. Now the verb is flew. It's going to be in the end. So flew is uçmak. And the to the US part is going to come before. US is ABD, and then you need the dative case. This is called dative. It means towards. You basically just add e or a, okay? But since ABD, it's like de, it's pronounced de with the e sound. It's difficult to say ABDE, so we put a y here. And this is dative case. German speakers, Russian speakers, Slavic speakers, be careful. You guys use, I guess, the accusative case. In Turkish we use the dative case, okay, so be careful about that. Anyway, the AI is basically the to, towards, something. Something of that nature. So ABD'ye, uçmak, to fly to the US. Now I'm going to omit the mak and add en or an. Again, it's an. Okay, uçan. Now this can mean who fly to the US, who will be flying to the US, who have been flying to the US, who flew to the US. It doesn't matter, okay? You can't put any tense on it. It's understood from the context and from the main sentence. I'm gonna explain to you much later if it's necessary how to, you know, specify the tense in it, but usually in 99% of the cases you won't be needing it. We don't use it. So ABD'ye uçan, and then I go on. Öğrenciler. Let's italicize it. ABD'ye uçan öğrenciler, to the US flying students, something of that nature. Bir otelde. The rest of the sentence is ready already. Otelde kaldılar. ABD'ye uçan öğrenciler bir otelde kaldılar. To the US flying students at a hotel stayed. I would say it doesn't sound too bad for a literal translation. It's pretty good. Okay. Now let's work on a sentence that has the verb go, to go in it. For example, the teachers who went to let's say Madrid, Spain, who went to Madrid, teach well. Such a random sentence. So teacher is öğretmen. Sorry, öğretmen. And to go is gitmek. Madrid is Madrid, and teach is öğretmek, and well is i, which is also good, by the way. So the main sentence is that the teachers teach well. Which teachers? The ones who went to Madrid last month, for example. So let's work on the main sentence first of all. The teachers teach well. Teach is the main the verb, so it's going to be in the end. So the teachers well teach. Teacher is öğretmen, Now the plural, öğretmenler, remember, it's the plural suffix, öğretmenler. Well, iyi öğretiyor, and then lar if you want. Öğretmenler iyi öğretiyorlar, or öğretiyorlar. You don't have to pronounce this R. Most people don't pronounce it, but it's a personal thing. I sometimes do, sometimes don't, depending on my speed of, on the speed at which I speak. But it's a personal thing. A lot of the time you won't hear it, and actually you will see people spell it this way. It's completely wrong. I don't want my students to spell it that way on MSN, or we don't have MSN anymore, but WhatsApp or Facebook, etc. Spell it correctly, okay? Make me proud. So öğretmenler iyi öğretiyorlar. Now which teachers who went to Madrid? Let's work on that. Who went to Madrid? So here, went is the verb to go. It's in the end. It's gonna be in the end. So to Madrid is my first word, which is Madrid, and Madrid with an apostrophe because it's a proper noun. Try to use the apostrophe for proper nouns. It's proper to do that. Madrid'e gitmek, right? So now what we do is, again, we add suffix n or an. So for this verb it's going to be n because it has a dotted vowel. So git plus n, right? Now remember, or don't, but watch the 10th video. We have 4 verbs that are a little irregular, and those are actually 3 because one of them is never used. So those are gitmek, to go, tatmak, to taste, etmek, which means nothing, it's just an auxiliary verb, but you use it in verbs like seyretmek, to watch. It's spelled like this, seyretmek, to watch. Etmek, and all the verbs that end in etmek. And gütmek, which is never used, but it means to herd, like to herd sheep. So unless you're a shepherd, you won't be using it. So gitmek, tatmak, etmek. These verbs, when necessary, they change the T's here into D. In the present tense or other tenses, it doesn't matter. And when I mean when it's necessary, what I mean is when you add a suffix that starts with a vowel, like this one, for example. So you're gonna be careful. They change into D. For example, if you say tatmak, in the present tense it becomes tat plus ıyor. You don't say tatıyor but tadıyor, okay? But if you had, for example, atmak, which is a completely different verb, it means to throw something, you just say atıyor. So these 3 verbs, or the 4th verb, gütmek as well if you want, those are a little irregular. They change the T into D, which isn't a big irregularity, but it's just a rule maybe. So be careful here. Gitmek becomes giden. That's why I didn't want to use this verb in the previous example, because I didn't want to teach 2 things at the same time. So Madrid'e giden, it's the one who goes, or the ones who go, plural or singular, doesn't matter. You can't, by the way, do this here, okay? Not in this context. So it's singular, plural, any person, any tense. So let's continue. Madrid'e giden öğretmenler iyi öğretiyorlar. Madrid'e giden öğretmenler iyi öğretiyorlar, or öğretiyorlar. Most people would say Madrid'e giden öğretmenler iyi öğretiyorlar without the R here. So do you understand? Let's make another example in negative this time. I'm gonna work on a different example. For example, the person who is writing an email is not my friend. Oh no, sorry, I need the negativity here. So who isn't writing an email, but this is a weird sentence. I'm gonna say the person who doesn't eat pizza is probably not Italian. The person who doesn't eat pizza is probably not Italian. Now, let's work on the vocabulary. Person is kişi. Eat is yemek. Pizza is pizza, wow. But we pronounce it pizza, okay, not pizza. A lot of people think, by the way, sorry Italians, a lot of people think the Pisa Tower is actually Pisa Tower. So you will hear Pisa Kulesi, Kule is tower, a lot. Don't get offended, okay? So if Turkish people say, I went to the pizza tower and I ate pizza, well, just say okay. So kişi yemek pizza, and probably is all the yes, I'm gonna say büyük olasılık. Okay, we actually have a shorter word here, muhtemelen, which is actually Arabic. Muhtemelen, it's probably, and not is, you know, değil, but isn't. Isn't is değil, and then Italian is Italian. Be careful, we have a capital here. I'm actually not gonna write this because, oops, sorry, because you already know this. So Italian is Italian. Pay attention to the capital here. So the main sentence is the person is probably not Italian. Which person? The one who doesn't eat pizza. Okay? Or maybe pizzas? No, pizza is fine. So let's work on the main sentence first. The person is probably not Italian. Kişi muhtemelen İtalyan değil. Okay? If you omit the değil, it's gonna be Italian. Kişi muhtemelen İtalyan. The person is probably Italian. And you know, this is verb to be actually. Italiansın, you are Italian. Italianız, we are Italians. But if you don't add anything, it's the third person. And if you add değil, it's the third person negative. If it's first person negative, you're gonna have to add this im to değil. Okay, do you remember this? It's 9th lesson, I believe. Anyway, kişi muhtemelen İtalyan değil. The person is probably not Italian. Now which person? The one who doesn't eat pizza. Who doesn't eat pizza. Now, the doesn't eat part is the verb. So the pizza is the object. It's going to come before. So pizza. I'm not going to use an accusative case here because we're not specifying which pizza. It's not definite. Okay, it's not the pizza. If it's the pizza, you can use the accusative case, but here it's not necessary. So pizza, and doesn't eat is, to eat is yemek. What I do is I omit the mek, and then I'm going to add en or an. And for this you have e, so obviously you're going to have to choose e, so because we're going to have to, you know, make them as similar as possible. Wow, this is actually an irregular. Okay, yemek is an irregular verb. Okay, you do this right. You add the y here, yeyen, but you also change this to e. Okay, another irregular verb, guys. Yemek is irregular, and demek is already. Also is going to be irregular, of course. Yemek and demek are two irregular verbs here. They become yiyen, who eats, and demek is to tell, to say, diyen. Okay, just so you know, you can make mistakes. It doesn't matter. You're going to learn in time. So pizza yiyen is the one who eats. However, I'm going to confuse you too much here. This means who eats. I want to say who doesn't eat. So please, let's get back to it. So this is yemek, right? And I want to add n, but before that I want to add the suffix, negative suffix, which is me or ma, if you remember. And of course for this e, I'm going to use me. So, sorry. Yeme, not eat. And as you see, there's no change in this case. If it's only irregular in the positive form. So yeme, plus I'm going to add n, of course, two vowels, so I'm going to add ye here. Pizza yemeyen, who doesn't eat, who don't eat. I hope I haven't confused you too much. That was a bad example. That's what happens when I improvise. I don't prepare these lessons anymore, you know. I stopped doing that after the 12th lesson, I guess. I just type as I think it's more fruitful, I find. But sometimes I make, you know, silly teaching mistakes like this because, you know, I'm not so smart. So, pizza yemeyen, who doesn't eat. I'm gonna italicize this. or who don't eat, because it can be plural too. So let's capitalize this because it's gonna be the beginning of the sentence. Pizza yemeyen kişi muhtemelen İtalyan değil. Just one more note. Muhtemelen is acceptable. It's a bit old, but you can use it. I sometimes use it. But we also say büyük olasılıkla, which is olasılık means possibility with a big possibility. Okay, so it's another word that you can use here. So I'm gonna also type that. You're gonna hear that, and we are learning grammar. Why not also learn vocabulary, right? Without vocabulary, grammar is nothing, and vice versa. So try to learn this expression as well. So pizza yemeyen kişi büyük olasılıkla İtalyan değil. Pizza yemeyen kişi muhtemelen İtalyan değil. Pizza yemeyen kişi büyük olasılıkla İtalyan değil. Okay, both sentences are very correct and very, very good. Okay, so that's about it. Now, one more thing I want to talk about is when in English the adjective clause has the verb to be. For example, the car that is red is a Toyota. For example, a sentence like this. This verb to be isn't a problem, but this will be a problem. Well, not a problem really, but I mean, just it's a new pattern. So let's first of all let's learn the vocabulary. Car is araba, red is kırmızı, and to be is olmak, which we never use. For example, you would say like zengin olmak, to be rich, okay? But when you say I am rich, you would say zengin oluyorum. No, you don't do that. You use a suffix, zenginim, zenginsin, zengin, zenginiz, zenginsiniz. Do you remember this? Zenginler. Verb to be. Present tense. And then if it's past tense, zengindim, zengindin, zengindu, etc. But in infinitive form, it's olmak, which we have never used so far. This is the first time. So olmak. Kırmızı Toyota is Toyota, of course. Now, the main sentence is the car is a Toyota. So let's write that. Araba is bir. Now let's write that too here. A is bir. Araba bir Toyota. You actually don't need the bir, but anyway. Where's the is? You don't need the is. Because if you were to say I am a Toyota, if you were to say that, Toyota'yım, like apostrophe is because Toyota is a proper word. Toyota'sın and Toyota, you don't need anything. Okay? In the third person. And if it was not a Toyota, you would add değil here. Okay? This is 9th lesson, you actually know this. Now, how about this part? That is red. Now the red part is kırmızı. That is red. Okay. By the way, that, which, who, it doesn't matter. If you always add n on in Turkish, it doesn't change. It's an English thing. Okay, in Turkish it's the same. So red is kırmızı. Let me unitalicize this. This is the English part. Kırmızı, and verb to be. For the adjective clause, you use it, okay, which is olmak, because we have to add n onto a verb, and we have to have a verb here. So olmak is to be. I delete the mek and mak. I add n or an. Okay. So for olmak, it's an. Kırmızı olan, the one who is red, which is red. Okay. The red being red. So I put it before the araba because that is red is the adjective of car. Which car? That is the car that is red. So it's the adjective. It's gonna come before the araba. Kırmızı olan araba bir Toyota. Okay. Kırmızı olan araba bir Toyota. You also can omit this r. Kırmızı olan araba bir Toyota. Okay. So this is what happens with verb to be. If it wasn't red, isn't red, what you do is simple again. Just before this an, you add mema, one of these two, negative suffix. So olma and then when you know combine the an, you have two vowels, so you prevent that with a y, helper consonant. Olmayan. Kırmızı olmayan araba. The car that is not red is a Toyota. Kırmızı olmayan araba bir Toyota. Okay? It's not difficult, I hope. Anyway, so that's about it. Okay, in this lesson we learned basic adjective clauses, which are so important in making long sentences. This is basically what you're gonna be reading in when you read books. It's gonna be one of the patterns that you're gonna see, and also it's very useful, and it's the key in speaking with longer sentences. So I'm gonna give you 5 for 3. 3, yeah, 3 is good. 3 example exercises. 3 sentences as an exercise, and I'm gonna give you, and I promise I'll do that. I know I haven't been doing it. I'll give the answers in the next lesson, and if you have any questions, put them in the comments below, and I'm gonna answer them in the next video as well. So let's work on the exercises. Let's give a title. Alıştırmalar. Exercises. Alıştırmalar. First one. Translate to Turkish. Let's say the kid that is reading a book is my brother. Kid is çocuk, and read is okumak. Book is a kitap. You don't need an accusative here because it's a book. It's not the book. Okay, it's not definite, so you don't need the accusative. Kitap. And brother is kardeş. And remember, my is benim. Okay, but don't forget, you have to also change this. You can't say benim kardeş, but you have to add, remember, imsin, no, im, in, etc. This is also sister, by the way. Okay, we don't differentiate. It's the same thing. So, and the second sentence is gonna be the house, no, the building that is standing there is my, or is not. Yeah, let's make it difficult. Isn't my workplace, which isn't extremely difficult, but anyway, the building is bina. You have a the here, but you know we don't show the. Stand is durmak, which is also to stop. By the way, durmak. There is orada, but spelled with as orada. And my is benim again, and workplace is iş yeri. Okay. Third one, let's make a negative one this time. And the adjective clause part. The language. No. The woman who isn't rich is not a, let's say, is a teacher. Yeah, teachers are poor. Here anyway. The woman who isn't rich is a teacher. Okay. Woman is kadın, and rich is zengin, and teacher is öğretmen. And you have to be here olmak, but it's negative. Be careful. So yeah, these are your homework for whenever you want, and then I'm gonna give you the answers in the next lesson. Okay. And yeah, so that's about it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it wasn't too long or too difficult or too boring. And I'm sorry I kept you waiting for so long, and I'm back now, hopefully. I'm gonna be, I'm gonna be firmer. I'm gonna continue doing lessons. And if you have any questions, just drop down. And I'm also planning to do some Skype sessions, by the way, for those who want. We can, meet up on Skype and, have a chit chat on Sundays, on Saturdays. I haven't thought it through yet, but, we can arrange a date and meet up on Skype and have some conversation. Let me know what you think about it, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Bir sonraki derste görüşmek üzere. Hoşça kalın.